Dear students, I am Heba Haq, lecturer of physics from Government Degree College, Madir Kent. Today I am going to explain Newton's formula for the speed of sound and Laplace correction, which is a topic from chapter number 8, first year in textbook. Under this topic, I shall explain longitudinal waves, which are the second type of mechanical wave. I have already explained transverse wave in detail in my previous lecture. And then in order to drive the speed of sound, I first discuss few important points related to sound waves, and then after that I will explain Newton formula for the speed of sound in waves, then the Laplace correction, and after that I will discuss the dimension analysis of Laplace formula for the speed of sound in air, and after that I will explain the factors affecting speed of sound in air, and at the end I will calculate the speed of sound in air at 0 degree centigrade and at any temperature other than 0 degree centigrade. So let's start with our first topic, which is longitudinal wave. A longitudinal wave is the second type of mechanical wave. The first one is a transverse wave. We already explained it. So those types of mechanical waves in which motion of particle is parallel to the direction of propagation of wave itself are called as longitudinal waves. So longitudinal waves are those types of mechanical waves in which motion of particle is in the same direction as the direction of propagation of wave, which means that direction of wave and motion of particle are parallel to each other. For further explanation, let us consider a spring under tension is set oscillating back and forth at one end, and the disturbance move along the spring, and the spring particles vibrate back and forth parallel to the direction of propagation of the disturbance. So here we have a spring whose one end is connected with a rigid or fixed support, and from other end we create disturbance in such a way that we set this spring oscillating back and forth. So as we are applying a force along x-axis, so particle of the spring start vibrating along x-axis, and the direction of wave is also along x-axis. So the direction of wave and the direction of vibration of particle are parallel to each other. Okay, let's talk about speed of sound. Before driving its formula, I will discuss few important points. The first one is sound waves are compressional and mechanical waves. These are the type of longitudinal waves, and we know that in longitudinal wave, motion of particle is parallel to the direction of propagation of wave. Now, if we talk about how we produce sound waves, majority of sound waves are produced by the vibration of a string or by the vibration of air in pipes. These vibration causes the air in the neighborhood to vibrate also, and this disturbance of air travels out in the form of longitudinal waves. So we produce sound waves by vibrating a string or a vibration of air in pipes. So when we vibrate the molecules, the air molecules causes the vibration of their neighborhood molecules, and in this way the disturbance of air travels out in the form of longitudinal waves. When a sound wave have entered the air, part of its energy is converted into electric current, which travel along nerves to brain, and so we are made to aware of the sound received. Then sound wave cannot travel through vacuum. In vacuum, speed of sound is zero, and sound waves required a material medium, which is solid, liquid, or air. As these are the type of mechanical waves, and for mechanical waves we need a material medium. Then we have for a normal human ear, we can detect sound wave of the range of 20 to 20 kilohertz, which is called as audible range. So the first formula was derived by Newton, and Newton's formula for speed of sound wave in air. When us he explained that when a sound wave travels through a air medium, it compresses or rarefies. Rarefies means expand the air molecules, which causes increase or decrease in the pressure relative to the average value. So when the air molecule compresses, the area of that region decreases and pressure increases, and if the air molecule rarefies or expand, the area of that portion increases and pressure decreases. So he said that due to the compression and rarefaction, the pressure of air increases or decreases relative to its average value. So here we have compressional wave traveling, and then this portion is known as the compression, and this portion is known as rarefaction. So here you can see that the compression and then rarefaction and the particles. So particles of air medium compressed and then expand, or rarefies, then compress, then expand, and in this way the wave propagate. So here we have a clear diagram that we have a sound wave generating, and then this is the medium of air molecules, and then initially air molecule compresses, and as they compresses, the area of this region decreases and pressure increases, and then they rarefies or expand, and when they expand, the area increases and pressure decreases, and then they compress, and then they rarefies, and so on. So these compression and rarefaction travels along the medium. Newton explained the speed of sound by using this formula, or by using this definition, that the speed of sound is the square root ratio of elastic property of the medium to inertial property of medium, and mathematically we can write it as v is equals to under root elastic property upon inertial property. Now we need to understand what is elastic property of medium and what is inertial property of medium. So let's talk about elastic property. Elastic property for longitudinal wave describes how the medium responds to changes in pressure with change in volume. So it is actually the property which explains that how the medium responds if the pressure changes with a change in volume. So if we are talking about the speed of sound in air, so elastic property will be explained by that how the air molecules responds if the pressure of the air molecules changes with the change in volume, as I already explained in my previous slide, that when the sound wave travel through air medium, it compresses and rarefies the air molecule. So in both cases the pressure of the air molecules changes. So this property is explained by bulk modulus. We represent it by capital B, and bulk modulus is the ratio of change in pressure to the resulting fractional change in volume. So this fractional change in volume means change in volume per unit original volume. So fractional change in volume is the ratio of change in volume to the original volume. So if V naught be the original volume, delta V be the change in volume, so fractional change will be equal to delta V upon V naught, and change in pressure is delta P. So if we write it mathematically, B is equals to minus delta P upon delta V upon V naught. So this negative sign ensures that an increase in pressure causes an decrease in volume. According to Boyle's law, when the volume of a gas increases, its pressure decreases, and Newton consider Boyle's law. So I will explain it in later. So this negative sign shows that when volume increases, pressure decreases. If we talk about the unit of bulk modulus in MK system, so bulk modulus is measured in Newton per meter square, which is a unit of pressure, as the fractional change in volume has no unit because it is a ratio of two similar quantities. So if we talk about inertial properties, so inertial properties of medium are those properties in which mass is involved. So we have a density, which is mass per unit volume. Speed of sound according to Newton's is equal to under root B upon rho. Now, if we calculate the speed of sound using this formula, it is slightly change with respect to the speed of sound calculated by experiment. So there is a slight change in determining the speed of sound by experiment and Newton's formula. So Laplace proposed a correction in Newton's formula at speed of sound at in air. So Laplace said that while driving his formula, Newton assumed that compression and rarefaction take place isothermally. Isothermally means at constant temperature and follows Boyle's law. So I have already explained what is Boyle's law. Boyle's law states that volume of a gas is inversely proportional to its pressure if temperature of a gas is constant. But by changing the pressure, volume changes, and due to which temperature also changes. Laplace suggested that compression and rarefaction takes place adiabatically. Adiabatically processes are those processes in which there is no heat enter or leave the system, and we can accomplish these type of process by increasing the speed of the process. So bulk modulus for adiabatic process is equal to gamma p, where gamma is the quantity normally used to explain adiabatic process. So Laplace give a reason that compression and rarefaction take place at very high speed. Hence, during compression, air cannot lose heat energy, and during rarefaction, it cannot absorb heat energy. So he suggests that the compression and rarefaction phenomena are occurring at very high speed. So when the gas is compressing, it does not take time to lose heat energy, and vice versa. When the gas is expanding, it does not take time to absorb heat energy. So in this way the involvement of heat energy is zero. So formula will be under root gamma p upon rho. Same, we have a bulk modulus upon elastic properties or inertial properties ratio. So elastic inertial property will be same, which is density, and elastic property is for bulk modulus for adiabatic process is equal to gamma p. So this gamma is actually the ratio of specific heat capacity at constant pressure to the specific heat capacity at constant volume. If you talk about what is the specific heat capacity, it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a given of 1 kilogram mass of a substance through 1 Kelvin at constant pressure, in which is isobaric process. So we use Cp, and at constant volume, which is isochoric process. So actually these are the application of first law of thermodynamics. We have 4 processes: isothermal, isobaric, isochoric, adiabatic. So gamma is equal to Cp upon Cv, since it is a ratio of similar quantities. So gamma is also unitless quantity. So gamma depends upon the type of gas. If we have a monoatomic gas, mono means one molecule, the value of gamma is 1.67. if we have diatomic 2 molecule, then it is 1.4. if we have polyatomic, which is more than 2, then gamma is equal to 1.33. Now we know that according to general gas law, PV is equals to nRT, or we can take at P is equals to nRT upon V. So density is equal to mass per unit volume. So we can write it as V is equals to gamma P upon rho. So gamma nRT upon V into M upon V. So this V cancel. V will be equal to gamma RT N upon M, where n is the number of moles, which is mass per unit molecular weight, which is equal to m upon capital M. So if we put the value of n, number of mole, in above equation, V will be equal to gamma under root gamma m upon capital M RT upon M. So this m and this m will cancel. So the final expression for velocity is gamma RT upon capital M. So in this expression, R is the general gas constant, T is the temperature in Kelvin, gamma is the ratio of specific heat capacity at constant volume to the specific heat capacity at constant pressure to specific heat capacity at constant volume, and then m is the molecular weight. So if we talk about the dimension analysis, we have left hand side is velocity. We know that velocity is mass per unit meter per second, so its dimension is m0. Since there is no mass, something to the power 0 is 1, then L1, and t to the power minus 1. And if we talk about the right hand side, I am going to solve it. So we have gamma p upon rho. Gamma is unitless, p is pressure, force per unit area, which is Newton per meter square, and rho is mass per unit volume. If you talk about Newton, 1 Newton is equal to kilogram meter per second square upon meter square, and it will be equal to meter cube upon kilogram. If this volume will come here, and then this m. Further we can write it kilogram meter upon meter square second square into meter cube upon kilogram. So this kilogram will cancel, this meter square cancel, so we get meter into this meter square upon second square, which is meter per second. And again we have m0, mass is 0, L1, and t to the power minus 1. So left hand side and right hand side are equal. Now let's talk about factors which affect the speed of sound wave in air. So first, pitch and loudness. It is it is a matter of common experience that pitch and loudness of sound have no effect on the speed of sound. So speed of sound is not affected by changing pitch or loudness. Now if we talk about pressure, the effect of pressure changes on the speed of sound in air and other gases was investigated theoretically by Isaac Newton, who showed that the speed of sound is proportional to under root pressure upon density. Since change in volume and volume will cancel, so we have pressure upon density. Now in accordance to Boyle's law, which states that pressure volume of a gas is inversely proportional to pressure if temperature is constant. So if the pressure of a fixed mass of air is doubled, the volume of will be half, as they are inversely related, and hence the density will be doubled. Since density is mass per unit volume, so if volume is half, density will be doubled and the ratio will remain unchanged. So this means that the change of pressure have no effect on the speed of sound in air. This is very important information, and it may be asked in MCQs or reason. Now if we talk about the third quantity, temperature, anything that which changes the air density without altering the pressure will cause a change in speed of sound. Change in temperature can bring this about if the air temperature increases at constant pressure. The air will expand according to Charles' law, and therefore become less dense because volume increases, hence the ratio will be increased. So the speed of sound increases with increase in temperature. So speed of sound only depends upon the temperature. And then we have the formula we already drive was V is equals to under root gamma RT upon m. So the factors on which speed of sound is depending is temperature, general gas law, gas is constant, and then we have type of wave, which wave you are using, monoatomic, diatomic, polyatomic, and then we have the molecular weight of that gas. Or okay, now using previous formula, I'm going to calculate the speed of sound in air. Okay, we know that air is a combination of nitrogen and oxygen gases. So we have approximately 80% of nitrogen and 20% of oxygen. Let's talk about data. Mass of nitrogen Mn2 is 2, since it is a diatomic gas, N2. So we have 2 into 1428 gram per mole. If we convert it in kilogram, we get 28 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 kilogram. Divide 28 by 1000. Then if we talk about oxygen, mass of oxygen, or we have MO2 is equals to 2 into 16, which is 32 gram per mole. Again divided with the 1000, we get 32 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 kilogram per mole. Now molecular weight of air is 0.2, which is 80% of nitrogen into 20% of plus 20% of oxygen. So 0.8 into 28 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 plus 0.2 into 32 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. Or if we multiply it, we get 0.0224, and if we multiply 0.2 with 32 exponent into 10 raised to the power minus 3, we get 6.4 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. Add them. The molecular weight of air is 0.0288 kilogram per mole. Now we know that R is general gas constant, which is constant 8.314 joule per mole into Kelvin, and gamma for diatomic gases is 1.4. And at the end we are talking about 0 degree, so temperature 0 degree means 0 plus 273, which is 273 Kelvin. So the formula for the speed of sound proposed by Laplace is equal to under root gamma RT upon capital M, where gamma is the ratio of specific heat capacity at constant pressure to the to the specific heat capacity at constant volume. R is the general gas constant, and T is the temperature, and M is the molecular weight. We have already find out the molecular weight of air, and temperature is given, which is 0 degree centigrade or 273 Kelvin, and R and gamma are constant. So if we put the value of these quantities, we get V is equals to under root 1.4 into 8.314 into 273 upon 0.0288, and if we calculate it, we get 332.16 meter per second. So speed of sound at 0 degree centigrade in air medium is 332 meter per second. Now if we talk about any other medium, any temperature other than 0 degree centigrade or 273 Kelvin, the speed of sound in air can be written as V is equals to V 0 degree at 0 degree centigrade into under root T upon 273, or we can write it as V is equals to 332, which is the speed of sound in air at 0 degree centigrade into T under root T upon 273. So this is all about today's lecture. In today's lecture, we learned that what are longitudinal waves, and then what are sound waves and how they propagate in a medium, and then the Newton's formula for the speed of sound in air, then Laplace correction, and then the dimension analysis of Laplace formula for the speed of sound in air, then the factors affecting speed of sound, and in the end we calculate the value of speed of sound in air at 0 degree centigrade using Laplace formula, and at any other temperature, any temperature other than 0 degree centigrade. So I will end up my lecture with the words of Stephen Hawking. He once said that however difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. So always think positive, and even if the situation is worse, there is some positivity hidden in it. So thank you. If you have any question, feel free to ask. I will try my best to answer it. In next lecture I will explain the superposition of sound waves, then what is beat. Beats is a phenomena, and then acoustic. So these and we have Doppler effect too. So thank you. Take care. God bless you.